blowouts in their own right. So what are we, or what are you thinking about this all-important Game 5 tonight with Boston? Does it end? Does it not end? Who the hell you're looking at, and what should we be betting here tonight?
I hope that it does not end. One of my favorite things in life is watching Boston sports fans lose their minds.
Yes.
And if Boston loses tonight, you will see an avalanche of fear, and that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm hoping for. I don't know. I feel like Dallas may have figured something out last game. The switch from Gafford to Lively, which we'll talk about, seemed to really, really cause some big problems. They dearly miss Porzingis. Al Horford has kind of been worthless without Porzingis in the lineup here. And you get a hot Mavericks shooting night. Who knows? Anything can happen. Every game in this series, there's been a team that didn't get to 100 points. So under bettors are very, very happy. I'll continue to be looking in the props market, but listen. You said it. Somebody in the chat room were already talking about alt lines.
Yeah.
I got to be honest. I'm not mad at it. We talked about this before the series started. The Boston, when they lose really, really big. So there's value on if you think Boston is going to lose, you play the alt line. Like what was Dallas? Minus 10 the other night. Like he probably got a really nice payday, and Boston is, so I don't know. I'm certainly not taking it over on this game. I think you just got to keep playing the trend. I thought Dallas's defense was much better, and we've seen Jason Tatum go ice cold from threes, and if there's a letdown spot tonight, Dallas will absolutely extend this series. So it's what I'm rooting for. I will not have a play on the spread or the total, but I don't know. I wonder if you could do something with like playing both teams under 100 points. What plus money, and then if one of them has a bad one, like you can get Boston under 100 points at plus 310 and Dallas under 100 points at plus 115. That's probably not the best value in the world, but just trying to look at some of these weird lines and trying to figure out what trends are our friends tonight.
I love that you went there, Andy, and a big shout out once again. Thought we did away with you guys, but nope. Shout out to John Finley again here. Me and look, Merrill and I, we lit a couple of candles. Andy, on Friday, we did ticker tape parades. Bye-bye. Thank you for the service and all of that good stuff. And yet we're right back with John Finley, Have Cash in the house. Eric D in the alt line. Big Daddy will be here. And we all know, regardless, that S. Warrior was showing up, whether there was a game or not today, just wanting to know what we all thought about the Miami Heat. So, any which way we cut it, we know that's probably still happening here. But I am very curious, Andy, and I'm so glad you brought it up because this has not been a great shooting series for the Boston Celtics. Am I wrong on this? And I don't know why people continue to start quoting on how good they were 2 months ago. What the hell does how good they were 2 months ago have to do with the fact that they're shooting like crap? And the idea that they're magically going to show up in a closeout game, Andy, no less, one of the hardest games ever to win, and somehow they're going to just be, it's got back to the old. They haven't been the old Celtics for a while now. Like, does everyone realize that, Andy? So I love your angle with fading, the team totals here, because that's exactly where I am heading in this game here tonight. One team has all the pressure, Andy. One team could care less. And that one team, everyone has already stuck a fork in and says has already lost anyway. And they came out and played like they didn't have a care in the world last game. So why is that going to change here tonight? Boston is somehow, with more pressure, going to be a better shooting team than they were. I just don't understand the concept there. So who are you looking at here tonight? If in fact we're looking at maybe not the greatest of shooting games once again for the Celtics. Talk to me about some of the props you're looking at here tonight on both sides.
Yeah, we'll go through some guys here. I mean, Jason Tatum still hasn't gone over his points, rebounds, and assists in this series. They got it at 42.5, and he's an under at this point. Luka, they've lowered his to 49.5. He's only gone over one time. Even the last two games where they played better. I mean, Luka's 39 and 39. He's not even sniffing his points, rebounds, and assist line. You look at other guys like Jaylen Brown. He's only gone over at one time. It was a huge over. It was a 35.5. He goes for 46. But again, if you've played all these guys unders, like if you played all the big names unders every game, you're rich. Just because they don't barely go over. Like Kyrie Irving. We talked about playing his perfect example. We talked about Kyrie Irving. If you're going to play his over points, don't play his over points. Play his alt line over 30. And sure enough, the one game he's gone over in this series, he had 35 points, blew through his point total. The rest of the games, he's been terrible, 12, 16, and 21. So I don't mean terrible as in like playing bad. I mean just like getting to his point total. So Drew Holiday, same thing. Drew Holiday dropped 40 points, rebounds, and assists. Then he responded with 18 and 15. So if I'm looking to, I will tell you the guy that really I have circled is Derek Lively. He only played 22 minutes last game. He had 23 points, rebounds, and assists. We talked about how the Mavericks are really getting away from Gafford. Gafford only played 10 minutes in that game. Well, of course, nobody really played a lot of minutes. The game was over. I mean, Luka had like 31 minutes or something crazy, so they all kind of got rest. But Lively looks to be the spark that they needed. He had a ton of rebounds. Al Horford could do nothing with him. So you could look at Derek Lively, points, rebounds, and assists, or you could just look at his rebounds. It's at 8.5. Since they've really moved to Lively, he's had 13 and 12. So, rebounds over, not a bad way to look if you think you're going to have another bad shooting night. So some of the other guys I just find really tough. Another under is Al Horford, 17.5. He had 10 points, rebounds, and assists last game. What did he have? Did he shoot the ball like one time? He had 3 points. I think he shot it one time. So some of these Celtics guys, man, I don't know if they just melted. I'm sorry. He made 2 baskets. Sorry, he made 2 baskets. My apologies. If the Celtics are gonna keep shooting the way they are, the value is in the unders, and I know it's not fun to bet the unders in the NBA Finals, but that's just how the trend has been. The only over I have any interest in is Derek Lively, to be honest. I'm pretty surprised the books put out the exact same numbers. This 18.5 points, rebounds, assists, and 8.5 rebounds. That was the same as the other night. So I think you're getting real value. I don't think the books are taking into account that they have moved. They're on to him. Gafford's probably going to start play a few minutes, and he's coming out, and it's Lively for the remainder of the game. So those are some of the props that have my interest.
Love that, Andy. We got a couple of folks to recognize in here. Shout out to, I believe, I just want to make sure we've got this here. Yes, John Finley wearing his WagerTalk thong today that he picked up in the merch store. Always a pleasure, John, to see that we can fit you comfortably. Thank you for that. Also, Russell Saylor wants everyone to know that he is very happy to be here because it was either this or basically report to his parole officer. So good to see you there, Russ. We appreciate it. Also, shout out, we have the Las Vegas Raiders team barber in the house on Instagram, Andy. You're going to love this, man. He is he's joining us here. He's got some interesting facts, actually, that we'll share about this game here. But pleasure to see you, man. We appreciate you swinging by, hanging in there. We've got a lot of people on Instagram apparently day drinking again, so that's fantastic. We also have a lot here that seem to be fading Luka under points, Kyrie under points, Atomic Warren. Daniel Alcantara 90 is saying Jaylen Brown plus 25 points, and he expects him to seal the MVP market. Atomic Warren all over the Celtics and the over. So it is correlated, is it not, Andy? So if you think the Celtics are going to win and going away, then yeah, you're going to be looking at probably some over props here. And if you think Dallas can keep this thing within 6.5, 7, and you think this thing is flying over the, what is it now? 210, 210 and a half. It was rising.
Yeah.
I get where they're coming from, but it appears a lot of people are on the train of Celtics over, fade everybody on Dallas. But I don't know that that's a great tactic, Andy. Are you on board with that too? I mean, maybe there are some guys I would fade on Dallas, but I think that's a very dangerous proposition to just to take it that way, man. What do you think?
Well, the last game really skewed a bunch of numbers. I talked about PJ Washington and how I liked some of his numbers and some of his stats, and then I think he got in foul trouble, and I don't think he came back into the game. I think he played 14 minutes or something ridiculous. So, I mean, it's one of those where you kind of you almost have to throw last game's numbers out. So, I mean, yeah, PJ Washington 14 minutes. It's terrible.
Yeah. Yes.
I would go back to him. He's certainly going to play more than 14 minutes. This is a guy that was playing between 36 and 40 minutes each game. So a couple of 3-point props that are interesting. I don't know what's going on with Luka. I mean, he went 6 games in a row with hitting 4 or more 3-pointers. He has 1 in the last 2 games combined. 1. So his his 3-point shooting is gone away. And then the other interesting thing I noticed was Derek White. So Derek White goes over his 2.5 made 3-pointers, and the books immediately move it to 3.5. And as soon as the books move that number up, you knew the under was coming. So Derek White, that's a lot of 3-pointers to make. 3.5. That's a little juice to the under, but again, that's just a lot there. Drew Holiday, he really came crashing back to earth. We were playing his rebounds and assists the first couple games, and he hit it pretty good. But then last 2 games, really not getting it done. 9 rebounds and assists, and then only 5 in the blowout. So. If I'm looking at some of these guys that play over, it's the role players. It's the numbers are so inflated on these.
I agree
on the big name guys. It's just and you have to be consistent with it. That's what was really tough about last game is if you were playing these guys that were hitting their overs, you really got smoked in the last one. But I'm not playing any overs on Kyrie, on Luka, on Tatum, on Brown. A couple of them are going to go over, you got to imagine, but my guess I think you're guessing. I would rather kind of be looking at the guys like the PJ Washingtons and the Derek Lively's and Al Horford's unders.
I love the way you're approaching that, Andy, because I agree with you. I mean, PJ was in foul trouble, obviously, in that game there. So, but prior to game 4, Andy, he's averaging about 36 minutes. He has scored at least 13 points in each of the first 3 games in the series. He's got to be a key guy if Dallas is going to make a run of this here with Doncic and Irving. So I wouldn't anticipate that he's going to get 4 quick fouls or 3 quick fouls and spend his time on the bench in a blowout. I would expect he is going to leave it all out there here tonight. 14 minutes in game 4. I would expect more from PJ Washington here tonight. I know there was a question, I believe, Dan, Loose 72 in the shorts feed. Always a pleasure. Good to see you again, my man. I believe it was Christian Harris. What are we thinking about Kristaps Porzingis? I think he's doubtful, and I don't think he's playing. I don't think any of us think he might be playing. I don't understand the posting of Porzingis is available under certain circumstances. Well, what about the circumstance of you're trying to win a damn NBA Finals championship? Is that a circumstance enough that you might want to play him? I don't understand what they're doing. I don't think he's playing at all. And I think all of that is a smokescreen because I really do think they thought they were closing it out in game 4 in Dallas. And boy, oh boy, did that not work out according to them here. I also do think, and I believe it was Kevin Cummings, Dan, I think if I'm not mistaken, also in the shorts chat, wanted to know the money splits. Okay, so here's the deal. There is forming a very big pros versus Joes divide here. The public loves Boston tonight. I'll just leave it at that. The public loves the Boston Celtics tonight. This line is not moving towards the Boston Celtics here tonight. This line is moving for the Dallas Mavericks here tonight. So we are looking at another pros versus Joes dividing line here. 6.5 currently. The total still 210.5 here, Andy, and I'm still perplexed by that number across the board here. Also, a lot of folks seem to be completely trying to figure out exactly why, and I think you nailed on it when it comes to Luka. His PRA number tonight, again, over 50, and we all know why he didn't get it the last game because he didn't have to play. I mean, let's be realistic here. He was all sitting down by the fourth. But he's only averaging through the first 4 games of this series, Andy, 43.5 PRA. And I mean, and he only went over that, I believe, in game 2. So if he's averaging 43 and you're giving me 50.5, win or lose, it feels like something I should be looking at going the other way because the numbers don't make any sense whatsoever. They really, really don't here. That is an amazing blown out of proportion number at 51.5, 50.5 PRA for Doncic. Is it not?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, it makes sense. You got to believe he's going to be taking tons of shots, and he's always around the rebounds and assists. But the books make you pay a really hefty price for these big name guys. I mean, he's gone under in 6 out of 10 games, and he's been dancing kind of around that number in a lot of them. So there's no value in it. Now, I mean, you got to believe that. Well, listen, he did his dumb thing with getting in foul trouble and then fouling out of the game. Maybe I would be hard pressed to think that the refs are going to put any big name guys in foul trouble unless it's egregious. So, maybe Luka learned his lesson and got his foul trouble game out of the way. But I mean, they were egregious fouls, and so I think they probably had to pull him aside and be like, you can't do that. Like no. When has he ever taken a charge? I still don't know what he was thinking. I've never seen Luka try and take a charge and instead he tries to do it when he's got 5 fouls. His brain just, kind of turned off. No, the number's too high. Value is always on the under in these big name guys.
Absolutely. It's on there on looking to fade them. AOD in the house, Pistons in 5, baby. That's where we're looking here. Andy has already placed that bet for the next 2 years straight. Kelsey, good to see you back here. Not letting the hangover affect you, I see it all, but that's good. Hair of the dog, Kelsey. Get right back in there. That Chardonnay is not going to drink itself. I can tell you that right now. What about if we bring in Porzingis, I believe, maybe in the 4th? You can't bring him if you ain't starting him or bringing him in early. I don't see any situation, Andy, in which Porzingis is going to come in late at that particular point. He's clearly compromised. And I'll tell you this, though, because that's the other problem. Did you notice how Luka just destroyed Tillman when he got on the court? In that game? Remember, that was going to be, Horford's 108 years old hanging out there, so he needs a breather from time to time. They brought Tillman out, and Luka immediately went right at him in the paint, and that was all she wrote here. I think Tillman only ended up playing, and give credit to Missoula, he saw what was happening, and he sat his ass on the bench for the rest of the night, and poor Horford was out there dying. Thank goodness it was a blowout so they could all sit. But Xavier Tillman is not going to be the answer here tonight without Porzingis going. And that's the big, interesting part of this, right? No Porzingis. They're a different team. They aren't as good protecting the rim. And the one thing we know about Luka and Kyrie, Andy, is they will find the mismatch. They will hunt it out, and they will get it and take advantage of it. And they did a pretty good job of that with some of those bench players for Boston in that last game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Boston has just got they're probably just going with their horses, and that's it. Like Tatum, you're playing 48 minutes. Like we'll bring in a couple guys, to give some guys a break, but for the most part, yeah, you can't play Tillman. I mean, Hauser shot the ball well last game, but was it quality points when the game was close? No. So, I mean, I think Boston will bring in some of the guys, but I think Al Horford's going to have to play a lot tonight.
Yep.
And that's the other thing with Boston is if they play Al Horford quite a bit and they don't win, that's not good for the next game. Horford's the one that needs the rest the most. But yeah, that is the good thing for both of these teams. Everyone's rested after last game. Not a lot of wear and tear on those bodies. So expect a lot of minutes. I would be nervous about taking prop overs on guys coming off the bench. Guys like Hauser, Pritchard. I don't know. I doubt there's Cornette. Cornette sighting. I doubt those prop numbers will be available. But even Brissett, I don't know if Brissett even plays if this game is close. So it'll be a rock fight. It'll be a rock fight with the starters for sure. I mean, Dallas is kind of in the same boat. I mean, Maxi Kleber is almost unplayable at this point. That poor guy.
Oh.
It's tough to watch him. Hardaway, I don't know. Hardaway was 5 of 7 last game, but again, meaningful minutes, probably not. So,
what about Dante Exum? It seems everyone's running to the window to back him. 2.5 points.
They should. He's a guy that comes off the bench, and I like him. I'm not really sure why Dallas doesn't play him a little bit more. I mean, 5 minutes, 11 minutes, 3 minutes, and 14 minutes. I mean, 3 minutes in game 3 seems silly. I don't know what they don't like about him. I don't know if he's missing assignments or not. I don't know, but I kind of like him. And if he does play a few minutes, surely he would hit a shot. Surely he would. He would hit. Of course, we said that about Kleber, and then he doesn't. So, poor Maxi Kleber. I don't know. Some of the bench guys for Dallas, they come in and they do give him a little bit of a spark, but in a game like this, you're probably going down with your main guys.
Well, I agree. It was funny. Jason Kidd had made the comment before game 4 about, I got to figure out a way to get Dante Exum in the game more. Well, who do you got to ask in order to get him the game more? I'm sorry. Do you need permission from somebody, Jason Kidd? He obviously should be in the game because he's another scoring threat. He's made, I think his minutes have been actually pretty good, and I don't see any reason why he won't have an opportunity to fly over this, Andy. So I'm with you. I think he is not a bad look here, and hopefully Jason Kidd gets permission from Jason Kidd to actually play him a few more minutes in this game here tonight. I also don't understand the team total aspect here, Andy. The Celtics are now at the 108.5 mark. If I'm looking and if Kelsey's doing the math, I think even Kelsey is looking at this going, have they scored 109 points yet? The answer would be no, they have not. And in the toughest, hardest game in the world to win, to close out with all the pressure, I don't understand why we're all thinking they're somehow going to drop 110, 115. This is not going to be a blowout, Andy, here without Porzingis on the court and not with some of the adjustments that have to be made now that Dallas looked it over. If we're playing the percentages, usually at this point, it's an under anyway, and it's been 4 unders. And if it lands under again, I mean, Boston can win this game, but are they going to do it by going over their team total, Andy?
They just need an insanely hot shooting night from threes, and they haven't shown that yet. And you wonder, it's like, are you saying, are they due? Like, okay, is this the game where they go nuts, or you just say, no, this is who they are? So it's such a confusing team, this Boston Celtics. I mean, an amazing record in the regular season. They blow through everybody in the playoffs, and yet we still have all these questions about them. Like, why aren't they shooting better? Why are they going under? This is a team that's up 3-1 in the NBA Finals, and yet we just have a lot of questions about them. Like, if they close out tonight, one of the more unmemorable championship seasons, like this one will just be completely forgotten about. So I also think the books are kind of looking at how many points the Celtics have scored this season, but they also know that everyone thinks that the Celtics are going to win and they're going to blow them out. And I've seen the chat like, oh, they wanted to win at home. Maybe there was a little bit of that going on in there. I see we've got Catch You Slipping is talking about how these games are rigged, and it's a great discussion, because like, isn't it a bummer if they hand you the script and you're Porzingis and you're like, man,
like, dude,
why do I get hurt
tonight? Yeah, like, come on.
They give him the script before the series start, and Porzingis like, oh, nice. I played great in game 1. Then the next, man, what? I get hurt again. Gosh darn it.
And not for nothing, Catch You Slipping. Like, divide it, don't hide it, brother. Like, you get a copy of that script, like, just throw it our way. We're good. Like, we all win, man. That would be fantastic if you can do that. That would be absolutely great. Gary Walker in the house here tonight. I love Roger Long. If it ain't broke, you're damn right. If you ain't scored 110 points yet in a game this series, you ain't scoring it tonight in the most difficult game to win. So, I'm not all for that. However, I do know the first half bet seems to be very popular with the team total for the Celtics over 55.5. If you are looking at that way, sure. If this game does get out of hand early, Andy, then I think it's going to be all about Boston holding on in the second half anyway if they have a big lead, right? That's what it's going to be about. They're not going to speed up the tempo and give Dallas an opportunity to get back into it. So if you're looking overs, I would look over team total in the first half if that's the direction you're going with that. But this has notoriously been a spot in the finals, in a closeout game here, in a game 5, where the under has been the play here. I can't tell you who's going to win or not win. Would it shock us, Andy, if Boston went? No, absolutely not. I'd be way more shocked if they did it in blowout fashion. I'd be way shocked, since they haven't been able to do that yet, and I don't think that's going to change here tonight at all. Catch You Slipping says he is going to work on getting us a copy of that script, Andy, and we'll get it to us as soon as we can. I believe also Julio Robles says, I am ready for vacation. Silly Julio. I've been on vacation for a month now. We also have, I want to make sure, was it, I think Russell, if I'm not, Russell says he's your spirit animal, Andy. I don't know if you knew that you had that kind of influence. I didn't realize that either. That's outstanding, the way that comes through like that. But he also had a play, I believe, here. I thought this was, let me see if I can find it. Kelsey is eating horse meat tonight, in case anybody wanted it. Oh, Lively. Let's talk about Lively here tonight. You're expecting much of the same. Amazing what a catalyst this kid has been as a rookie since he's been on the court with this team. Kind of makes you wonder what is next year and the year after going to be like for this kid. Looks like he's got quite a future going on here tonight. Can he? That's right. Jonesy also 1306. Lively over or under here tonight?
Over. Love the Derek Lively. Love the Derek Lively props. And Derek Lively, this is a very I don't know if people realize this. Derek Lively is a perfect example of why you tank. Dallas tanked. The end of the season, they had a chance to make it in the play-in, and they were like, we're going to get smoked. We're going to get absolutely torched in the playoffs. So let's just sit Luka and get a draft pick, and bang, it worked. So it's a lesson to learn, Joe. Quitting is a good thing in life. Like quitting, not trying, not going for it, not playing hard when you're out of it is that's the way to get ahead in life. So everything Derek Lively over, like points, rebounds, and assists. Yes, points. I don't know about points. It's 8.5. If he plays as many minutes as I think he's going to, I think he gets over. He's had 11 points, but he doesn't shoot the ball a lot. But they're just so high percentage shots that you know he's shooting in like 80% from the field. Still think the rebounds is probably the best number at 8.5. So, but I hit points, rebounds, and assists. And I guess if we're going with the theory of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We just keep playing the points, rebounds, and assists.
I agree. Gary Walker, Gafford over under 6.5 boards here tonight. Because what do you do with Gafford here, who was a moneymaker, Andy, was he not? He was a pretty steady play each and every game in the playoffs here. But if Lively's going to get the minutes and the looks, what are we doing with Gafford here tonight?
I mean, if it's 6.5, I'm staying away. If it's, I see one book has 5.5, but it's minus 145. Well, if I'm just keeping it simple, he's a stay away. He's a stay away. Lively, it can always get in foul trouble, and then Gafford ends up having to play a few more minutes. I just think he's a stay away. There's many other better bets on the board. So.
Yeah, I think here Dakota wants to know who's going to win tonight. Well, listen,
Catch You Slipping has the script. Ask him.
Exactly. Catch You Slipping. Divide it, don't hide it in the damn chat room. Dakota wants to know exactly who's going to win tonight. But listen, I do believe, Andy, once again, the spread is not coming to play at all. It rarely does in these spots.
You're right.
So if you think Dallas played the money line, you can take the points, but play it on the money line. It's yet to come in. It usually doesn't at this particular point in the finals. I think Teddy was on last week, had those numbers. It is insane how little the spread has actually come into play over the years in the NBA finals. So take your winner and take it on the money line if you're that convinced. I do think the totals are a better way to look here than anything else in this game. And Andy, what happens if we do get a game 6? Let's just, crystal ball it here. If we do get a game 6, boy, that's rough for Boston fans. Already turned on Boston fans in Dallas. Those are some of the best videos I've seen of Celtics fans beating the living crap out of one another because they lost one game in Dallas. What happens if they lose tonight here, Andy? I mean, the pressure is just mounting at this point, is it not?
Oh, yeah. That's, it's one of those, like all the pressure's on one team tonight. Dallas has no pressure whatsoever. So
zero.
Okay, crystal ball. If Boston blows it and loses tonight, call all your Boston fans. You're going to want to listen to Boston local radio because it's going to be amazing. But then
epic.
What you'd be looking for is a lot of, if we're just looking from the player prop standpoint, what's happened the last game or like the last 2 games. Because last game it felt like Dallas figured something out. If they win tonight, that means they probably stick with something, and maybe it's Lively. That's kind of what I'm betting on. But look at trends over, for tonight's game and then, last game. And if you got Boston that's continues shooting bad, you just keep playing the unders. You keep playing the unders on Tatum and Brown. And I saw somebody posted a ticket that they played all unders in the last game for some like 12-leg parlay because it was a blowout. Everybody hit it. It was some insane, like crazy number. I'm not doing that. But if Boston has another bad shooting night, go right back to the unders.
Yes, I agree. From A to the K, I believe here, Lively 55 minutes last 2 games compared to 25 in the first 2. He was also in foul trouble, I believe, in that first game. which kind of
Yep.
threw him for a loop there. But I am with you. Jones Jr. over 2.5 rebounds. I'm also seeing here, Andy. Gary Walker is convinced that there is a game 6. I'm all over Dallas, he says, and I get there. And Russ, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, Friday, Andy, one of our best bet here with Merrill, we talked about it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Doncic, first quarter points has been nothing but a money bet. I think it's only up a point. It was 8.5 on Friday, and I think it's 9.5 now. Are you seeing? It's not double digits. Are you seeing anything different on that?
Well, let me see here.
Because I think that is absolutely the way to
go. Yeah. Let me pull up the quarter props here.
Because that ain't broke.
Yeah.
We ain't fixing it.
But yeah. Again, that's the point about playing these player props is you just you keep playing them. You don't. There are very few exceptions where you just play it one time and then that's it. Like you keep trying to hit it over and over. So Luka's at 9.5 minus 120. So yeah, if you like him to have a big first quarter, that's a big number. It's a really, really big number, unfortunately. So, but it's the book. That's the thing, man. The books. If you notice a trend, the books most of the time notice it. So it feels like they've sniffed this one out.
I love, let's see, Russell has got parlay 8+ first quarter with the under 32 for plus 250. So fading his total points, backing him to go up and over early in the first quarter. Don't hate that at all, Russ. That's a good way to approach this thing for sure. Also, we're seeing here. Look at Zoe Foley back in the house there, Dan, right from first pitch to the NBA tip-off show. Appreciate that. Derek Jones, Jones Jr. here. Are we looking at that part of the bench to do anything? Are we going to get anything from the role players here tonight, or do you think it's just they're going to gas all the starters out for Dallas? Whatever it may be, it may be. We may not get anything from that bench of Dallas tonight.
Yeah, I like his over, 2.5 rebounds. He went over in the first 3 games, and then he only played 17 minutes in the last game. So he was another one, 3 fouls and only 17 minutes. Yeah, I would go back to him over 2.5 rebounds. I think that's a fine way to look at it.
Yes, I don't think that is terrible at all. Money continuing to roll in here on the over, guys. But if you are just joining us, there is appears to be a clear public versus pros line drawn in the stand here. It looks like the public loves themselves some Celtics to get it done here tonight. But that line ain't moving in that direction anytime soon here. So, by the way, Boston coming into this game, Andy, 33% from 3 in this series. Okay. I guess that's just gonna is that just gonna keep no? Oh, that's right. They're gonna hit 48% tonight. They've just been saving it, Andy. And that's Catch You Slipping is letting us know it was written in a script. They were not to shoot more than 34% from 3 until game 5. When game 5 at home got there, then they can go ahead and shoot 45% here. But we are not buying that script at all. The refs, Andy, tonight, and this was a good one pulled out from Instagram. Grind at all times in the house, ready to roll here on Instagram. He's already got the bourbon poured. We appreciate him. But God 6 Fit showing here, our man from the Las Vegas Raiders, who is the team barber, telling us, look at who the refs are tonight. It looks like Gobble's going. It looks like Zach Zarba also on the court here tonight for the NBA, and that screams under. All of those guys, Zarba, Bill Kennedy, Gobble, all of these guys are extreme under refs. So this could be interesting. A little less, Andy, a little less foul calling here tonight than what we got with the extender in game 4. And if that's the case, yeah, we ain't flying over this total here tonight. First half total, too, Andy, is what? 108.5? 109,
Mm-hmm.
somewhere in that ballpark there. I don't know that we're flying over that one either, because it seems like that one has only gone over once, I think, out of the first 4 games. The first half total has gone over. Everything else has been unders early, unders late, no?
Yeah, yeah, no opinion on the total. Like in the first half, one team can get you over the total. One team can really have
Yes.
a big game, but to go over for the full game, you really need both teams to
Mm-hmm.
contribute. So, I mean, you saw that when Boston threw in the towel last game and only puts up 80, 84 points. Like, there's no way there's a game going over total with that. So, it's unders or pass for me on the totals. And I will tell you, we've been talking about scripts. I don't know why I know this. The sports script. Next year is the 10-year anniversary of Marty McFly and Doc Brown landing in 2015 and bringing back the sports almanac.
Mm-hmm.
I,
Really?
I have no idea.
Did you
Yeah.
really? How the hell did you remember that?
Remember Back to the Future 2, they flew to the year 2015 and they got the sports almanac, and then Biff did his thing. So yeah, next year is the 10-year anniversary of that. So
Benson
I have no idea why
is in the
I
house.
have no idea why I know that. I have no idea why
he
I know
read
that. And
the
it's got to be worth
almanac,
more written.
and he said the Pistons in 5. So apparently he's way ahead of you. Benson has gotten the almanac. He is going Pistons in 5. Money Life in the house going Mavs need to cover the shooters, especially corner threes. They did exactly that in game number 4. The effort has got to be there for him. Andrew in the house, he is going to go first half appears to be 108 and a half. Full game 210 and a half. He likes the first half over 107 and a half. Our man Ross Benjamin there had that, I believe, on his video, by the way. If you guys haven't checked it out, Steve Merrill, Ross Benjamin, Rob Vino, all have videos. You can check out the links in the description on the YouTube homepage there, guys. Check those out. A lot of different ways to approach what could be the final game of the NBA season here. Make sure you check those guys out. AOD in the house saying, get off of my Pistons. No problem, AOD. We won't talk about him anymore. I promise here. Also, I thought Treo 22 was hilarious. Tatum's already talking like they lost. 7.5 points. And I think that's fantastic, too. 7.5 points is Tatum's first quarter line. Andy, is this a game where we could expect maybe just Tatum to try to get the team off and rolling? Or, I mean, he's gone over 7.5 in 14 of 17 games without Porzingis. And doesn't he usually play the entire 12 minutes, right? He doesn't go to the bench till the second.
Yeah. I'll be interested. I'm going to be interested to see how strict they are with their rotations and their lineups. Like, is it just like, hey, we've been doing this the entire year, let's keep doing it, or do they say no, you're playing the entire game?
Yes.
And then of course there's foul trouble that throws everything into the mix. I think the officiating's been really good this series. I don't have many complaints. So a lot better than this wasn't like the Pacers Knicks series where every game there was some catastrophe from the refs that affected the outcome of the game. So the first quarter points for players is pretty interesting. That's an interesting look. They're going to play. It wouldn't surprise me if they all played or maybe just at the last minute. You take them out in the last minute so that way they get the break in between the quarter and you put them right back in. It's an interesting way to look. I have not looked into that today. I probably won't play it, but I don't know. It's such a small,
Andy.
Well, it's such a small time, time period.
Yes.
Like, if he misses his first 2 shots, then he immediately becomes a distributor for his team, and then he doesn't get a chance. So I don't know. It's an interesting look, but it
is. Anthony Richardson in the house. Boston team total over 55.5 in the first half. That would be the way I would look to go in this one because you're going to know whether or not the threes are falling quickly, I think, in this game. If they are, and I mean, let's not kid each other here, guys. Live by the three, die by the three. They're either falling or they're not for the Celtics team. So if they're not falling and they don't go over 55.5, advantage Dallas. But if they are and they go over that, then if they have any sort of lead at the break there, I would anticipate. I still think the game is flying under the total. There's no way I'm thinking this thing flies 110 or more points here. But you live by the three, die by the three. They have not hit it. 33% from three through 4 games. Where is that switch, and when are they planning on flipping it, Andy? Because I'm not quite sure it's that simple at this point in the game. I'm really not, especially without Porzingis. And there he is, by the way. 505, Dan, mark it. S. Warrior in the house. Didn't realize there was still another game, but he's here. We appreciate. Yes, shout out. S. Warrior. Yes, very nice. Good to see you here, my man. I got to tell you, we were a little worried that you were going to show up at 6 o'clock and try to figure out where everyone was. But we're glad that you are here, my man. Treo22, speaking facts, absolutely. Celtics 55 are expecting a lot of points early on. And I do think, how many technicals does Luka get if they're losing tonight, Andy? That's a good question. How many?
Well, here's what's interesting about him is the refs are so used to it that they don't give him techs.
Yeah,
it's kind of like this was before they changed the rules, but this was when the Patriots, they used to just maul wide receivers in the secondary, and their theory was they're not going to call a penalty on every single play, and so the refs just kind of got used to it a little bit, and they got away with it. Luka gets away with way more.
Everything.
Tim Duncan got Tim Duncan got a text sitting on the bench, not talking.
That's correct.
The ref said he looked at me funny.
I didn't like the way he looked at me. Exactly.
That was a real thing that happened. But meanwhile, after every play, Luka complains even when plays go good for him.
That's correct.
He's just like he could make a nice pass and Kyrie hits a 3 and Luke will be like, like, what? What is the problem?
I thought it was fantastic. He literally looked absolutely like he just, I wish he could channel that more because everyone else around him played great when he wasn't crying. So maybe they found something there. But again, they already know they lost, right? So they've got nothing to lose. There's no reason to get pissed off. You're already, they were down 3-0. Can they bring that mindset again here tonight is going to be the big question here. Also, I think we had another question over there. Money Life, 7.5. Let me see here. Celtics depending way too much on a 3. I agree. Luka is going to mop there, Eddie. I kind of agree with you there. He needs to stop crying big time here. Lou72 wants to know on Instagram, can the Raiders barber get him a discount? He needs a little trim, Andy. Lou72 got a couple of hairs hanging out of the wrong spots here. Maybe he can get over there. He'll let us know in Instagram. We appreciate it. And shout out, by the way, ML. 1-1. Boston -4 in the first half. Is that a good bet? I think if you're backing Boston, first half is the way to go, guys, because if they don't get over 55.5 and they're not winning at the break, it's going to be a long night. Buckle up. It's going to be one hell of a second half here, and that doesn't bode well for Boston. So Boston, I would expect to punch first. So the first half to me is the only way to look there. 3.5. I think it's now 3.5, Andy. I don't think it's 4. It reached the 4. I think there was a little bit of buyback there. So Boston in the first half, if that's who you think is going to win it. If they are going to flip that switch from 3, back them to do it early. If they ain't doing it early, Andy, they probably ain't doing it late either. So that's the problem with the Celtics here. They become extremely live by the 3, die by the 3, and then you start getting in the hero ball, right? My question is, Boston wins. Who's the MVP tonight? I mean, who wins the MVP? Is this game decide who the MVP is, Andy? Does this game decide it?
Probably, yeah. Drew Holiday, if he has a huge game, he could sneak it out.
Yep.
Jaylen Brown could sneak it out. So yeah, there's that's a really interesting one. I haven't given any thought to the to the MVP, but it's got. I mean, right now, boy, Jaylen Brown's minus 235. Wow. That's I mean, I guess. I mean, if you had to give it to somebody right now, it's probably Jaylen Brown. But Drew Holiday at 35-1. Boy, that sounds.
Is that disrespecting Tatum? Is it?
What's Tatum done this series? Anything memorable? Not
He's been
really.
a double machine, right? I mean, what else can he? You know, yeah. I mean, but he at least he's been there.
Double machine.
Well. They're better when he's not scoring 30. That's the crazy thing.
Absolutely.
Other guys get involved. So, but he was, if I'm not mistaken, the odds-on favorite to win it before it ever started. Like, he was, without a doubt, the favorite to win the MVP. And Jaylen Brown is like, not so fast. Trevo, not a big. There's some sort of emoji going on there, and Tatum's name next to it. I'm going to assume he's not a big fan of Tatum and doesn't think he deserves any conversation here. But I think you bring up a good one with Holiday. Holiday single-handedly won them a game already in this series. So what happens if Holiday goes off again tonight and wins them? Is Holiday? He, by the way, already has an MVP trophy for the finals, does he not?
Oh, did he get it?
I'm pretty sure he got it with Milwaukee. Yeah.
Yeah. If he does it again tonight, where hits a bunch of shots and plays amazing defense, I would be I would be very happy sitting on a 35-1 ticket on him.
Yep.
So, I mean, unfortunately for him, the narrative for Boston is definitely, the Brown and Tatum. Like, whose team is it?
Yes.
So those two, it makes sense. It makes sense. But minus 235, no chance I'm playing that one.
Duck Nuts has shown up here today. We appreciate you, Duck Nuts. I'm sorry, Duck Nuts 6 in the house, Andy. So pleasure to see you, Duck
4,
Nuts.
and 5 were taken. Yeah,
I'm shocked that they even had 6 available. But Duck Nuts in the house here. Why don't we'll go through it before we get out of here, Andy. Throw out your best bet again here for the show tonight in this game for those that might be joining us late.
It's going to be Derek Lively over 8.5 rebounds. That's what I'm settling on. So, I love the activity. The last couple games, he's had 13 and 12 since they've been moving away from Gafford. Gafford only played 10 minutes last game. Lively 22 in the blowout. No Porzingis in there, and it's just he is a nightmare matchup for them. He's very active. He's very energetic. He causes Horford a lot of problems. Great offensive rebounding. Just very, very active at the rim. I think that's my favorite play for tonight.
I gotta like that there. Listen, Boston could very well win this thing. I still don't think they're going over their team total of 108.5. I'm not buying it here tonight. They can still win scoring like they have the other 3 games, 104, 105. The bottom line with Boston is they're not winning if they don't hold Dallas under 100 points. That's it. Then it's going to be Dallas, and we'll be heading back there for 6. So I think that's a lot of focus and effort on defense. Maybe a little less if those threes aren't falling. So I'm looking at the under 108.5 for the team total with Boston. They could still win it, but you ain't got to 109 yet, and I don't think a closeout game in Game 5 is going to be the spot. It's all magically going to come together for you here. So I'll take the team total under there. Shout out once again for 6 odds, 6 fit there from the Raiders, who, by the way, he has extended the invitation, guys. He is the team barber at the Raiders. over on Instagram. If you guys happen to be checking out, everyone except you, Duck Nuts. Apparently, that's illegal. Not that there's much illegal in Nevada, but apparently there's some sort of issue with shaving duck nuts. I have no idea what's going on there. Money life in the fact here. Roger Long, we appreciate you as always. Andy, there was a big push wanting to know what the darts play was this week. Do you have one?
No, we had a random tournament where Luke Littler, our boy Luke Littler, the most profitable dart player in the world, guy's 17 years old, number one player in the world. I'll have to look at it, but I believe there's a tournament coming up where they play on teams, and England to win is minus 175. Listen, you don't fade England in darts.
Yes.
You just don't.
Yes, you don't.
When they're going up against other countries, you want all of the English players. So that I'll have to look into a little bit more. Not an official play, but I'll look at it. Now, December is when the big tournament of the year takes place. It's like a month long, darts every day. It's awesome. It's so much fun and such a cash cow. So I'll let you guys know when it's coming. Don't worry.
I love that. All right. Also, shout out Kelsey. Rehab starts in about 20 minutes, girl. You'll be there. Don't you worry about it. John Findley's already offering you an Uber ride to get over there. Sean Crothers looks like he's a big believer in the Celtics here tonight. Julio, always a pleasure, my man. Now, listen, I'd love to do the whole goodbye thing, but just watch Friday's show. We already did it. And if they happen to blow it again here tonight, yes, we'll be back again. When is the next one, Andy? It would be what, Wednesday? Thursday.
My guess is Thursday.
Okay, it would be Thursday.
Yeah, it would be Thursday, June 20th.
Yes. Russell saying, shout out Rehab. Yes, shout out to the Chardonnay. It's not going to drink itself, people. Trevo, absolutely thank you. And by the way, in defense of Ducknut6, he did want everyone to know he tried putting an F there and YouTube wouldn't allow it. So I understand completely now. I take back everything I said, Ducknuts. They wouldn't allow the F to work in place of the D, and I get it now, man. David May back in the Oilers. No. It begins with an F. It has to begin with the F there. No. Begin with the F is where it is. We appreciate you guys as always. Do us a favor and hit that thumbs up if you could. Should be a fun one here tonight. I mean, no doubt about it. I think that blowout is a little much here. I do think and let's just get one competitive game would be fantastic. Like just one would be great if we could just get to like in the final 2 minutes where it matters, Andy, right? Not where we're all sitting there picking ourselves going, what the hell else is on now? Like really? What am I going to watch here? It's absolutely terrible. Please.
You could watch the 8-1 hockey game.
Yes.
From the other night.
Exactly my point. Exactly my point. Yes. Panthers will get it done tomorrow night. I'll be in that building watching it and making sure that they're doing so. But if all else fails here tonight and Boston once again puckers up and, gets a little tight there and they can't get it done, we will be back again on Thursday for another edition of the NBA Tip-Off Show. Andy, best of luck here tonight, man. Enjoy it. Catch you slipping. Don't forget, Andy would like the script as soon as you have it. Ducknuts says he's switching it to PH. I kind of like that. I like where you're going, Ducknuts. I'm telling you right now. Like where you're sounding it out. We can clap it out on the way out, guys. Clap it out. Andrew, we appreciate it. As always, Loose 72. You guys rock. Cash those tickets tonight. Either way, come back and join us. More great content coming your way all week long here on WagerTalk TV. Until we meet again, cheers, people. Enjoy tonight. We'll see you again soon.